Okay, gamers and gamettes, what is going on? My name is Tanek127 and welcome back to another Skyforge video. And guys, welcome to my beginner's guide for Skyforge in 2021 and beyond. Nintendo Switch players, by the time you guys are watching this video, welcome. Welcome to Skyforge. I hope you guys are enjoying the game and I hope you're having tons of fun with it and stuff like that. But not only will this help Nintendo Switch players, but this will also help PC players, Xbox players, and PlayStation 4 players, and hopefully upgraded next-gen versions for Series X and S and PlayStation 5. Who knows what the future holds? But enjoy today's guide, guys. I'm going to be giving y'all just some beginner tips and tricks and stuff like that. I'll be doing a guide later on for endgame and things once I do reach those spots on the Nintendo Switch. For this guide, I'm going to record simply from Xbox because this is the account that I have the most progress on. And by the way, here's your hint to subscribe. Who starts a beginner's guide with a hot waifu just dancing it all up in your face? I mean, full on thick, whole 9 yards. If that's not a cue for you to subscribe to this channel and smash that like button, I don't know what is going to be. But what is going on, guys? Welcome back. And today we're starting right here in the hall. Now this place here, this is going to be your main hub area. If you've played any game like Destiny or even Phantasy Star or anything like that, this is basically where players go mainly to LFG, pick up other players for groups and stuff like that. This is your central hub space, this right here. When you first start the game, you're going to create your character, do a little tutorial that's going to teach you about classes and stuff like that. You're going to pick one of 3 classes. I believe it's Paladin, the Lightbinder, and there's one other one that's available from the start. I'm not 100% sure what all 3 classes, and forgive me, it's been such a long time since I've done that beginning, but your questions probably are, how do I level up, what should I be doing first, and yada yada yada, and we're going to go through all of that today. So don't worry, when you first start the game though, right, you are going to be going through what is called your provinces. Now, if you look here on this menu that I'm scrolling through right now, you have several provinces that you have to go through. This is really straightforward, really simple. There was an old community manager named Killshift back when I first started covering this game, and he used to always call this the Yellow Brick Road. And I find that the best thing. This is the first thing you want to do. Your Yellow Brick Road when you start playing Skyforge. You have the province of Satria, Pantheon Plateau, Linos, Artemius Mountains, Glyceria, Trisophone, Belonia, Philomonis, and yeah, Tacit Dunes just gives you more of open world areas and stuff like that. So it stops at Philomonius, and your last and final province mission will be Thanatos' ship, which we're not going to spoil or talk too much about that because big story spoilers and big future content right there for you. But do keep in mind of something. You will not be able to access multiplayer, or at least from the last time I did this, they may have changed things now. You will not be able to access multiplayer until you complete the mission called Oki Island on Satria. That's this one right here that I'm highlighting, Oki Island. So remember that when you first start playing. Don't think multiplayer is broken. Don't think there's anything wrong. It's just you can't access multiplayer until you complete Oki Island. All these missions are 3-man. They're going to work like basic instance 3-man dungeons. You're going to go through, do some objectives, fight mobs, pick up loot, grab some gear, and then you're going to fight a boss. Now the next thing you're probably wondering is, how do you level up? Now that is an awesome question. I'm going to go through this menu and show you guys how exactly your leveling works and all that fun stuff here in this game. So first and foremost, do you see your rank in the top right hand corner? Your rank is basically your level. Now imagine a game system where it's just an infinite leveling system that just keeps increasing season after season after season. Skyforge isn't your typical MMO. It does get content updates and stuff here and there. They've been a little bit slow the past few years. I'm not going to lie about that, but Skyforge gets more of seasonal content updates. Every single season, you're going to get what's called an invasion. Now, if you're starting this game from the Nintendo Switch launch, Switch players, y'all have one massive advantage that PlayStation never got and Xbox never got that I want you to take advantage of. You're going to be starting with no season. That basically means you'll just have access to all the game's basic content minus the invasional content. Now, if the developers decide to change this up last minute, do forgive me, that's wrong, and I'll go ahead and make an additional guide on that. But basically, that means you can focus on nothing but grinding and leveling your character and getting your gear to tip-top shape for the upcoming season, aka Invasion. Like I was saying now, your level is your rank. Your rank is increased off of a few things. Your might, number one, which is, as you guys can see, my might right here is 25,320, and your superiority. Your superiority is another, basically another stat that you know with advantages that you have over enemies. Now, the cool thing, I'm not going to say the cool thing about these is they all go into the same thing, which is kind of why I find all these extra stats pointless, because they all do the same thing. I don't know why they don't just have rank, which is your level, and might, which is the big variation of your stats, and call it a day. I don't know why superiority is still in there. Don't ask me, but they all contribute to the same thing. So don't let it confuse you. A lot of people find Skyforge's leveling system confusing, but it's not. Everything you do in this game is dedicated to upgrading your rank in the end. Yes, increasing your might is important because that's also going to raise your rank, but increasing your might, like I said, increases your rank. Your rank number is what's going to get you into higher end content. It's not going to be your might, it's not going to be your superiority, it's going to be your rank. Every time a new season of content comes out, your rank is going to be what the requirement is for you to run that content. And your rank is increased through your might, superiority, and your might is just a overall average number of all your average stats, and your gear. Your gear is going to increase every generation. So now, for example, as you guys can see my gear right here, I have a few pieces of jewelry on. I have a piece of Generation 14 gear. I have a piece of Generation 11 gear. You guys see the numbers. That indicates the generation. Nintendo Switch players, when y'all get your first Invasion, you're going to be on Generation 1. But you're going to get the same content that PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC get. The only thing is, you're just going to be fighting those bosses at a lower generation level than those other platforms, because you guys are just starting off the game, and like I said, the leveling system's kind of infinite. You guys will only have been playing for maybe a few weeks or a month compared to the other platforms that have been playing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 years. But anyway, guys, gear, how you upgrade that, very simple. Running dungeons, running instances, picking up gear drops and stuff like that. It's an MMO. You guys don't know the deal with that. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about is our capital and Cathedral, Tower of Knowledge, Bastion, all this fun stuff. All of these things right here, you have to remember something. In Skyforge, you are technically a god, or a god in training as you start the game. Now, the cool thing about what you do here is everything is just about, you boosting your godlike powers. And everything you do increases your might and superiority. Now, as you play through the game, you're going to farm all kinds of different currencies. These currencies just increase your might, which also increases your rank. You're going to get a currency called credits and another currency called knowledge of enemies. Knowledge of enemies, where do you think you put them? That's right here in the Tower of Knowledge. The Tower of Knowledge will have a cap of how much you can stick in it every day. And unfortunately, what you have to do to get around that cap, if you want to, upgrade it a little bit more per day, you have to pay money. And that's where, people get into the whole pay to win aspect of the game. Skyforge isn't a hard game to keep up to date with. It's difficult to stay ahead in Skyforge, if you catch my drift when it comes to that. But that's a topic for another day. Your Cathedral, you do the same thing here as you would with raising your Tower of Knowledge. As you guys can see, I get 9,499 might off of my Cathedral. I have 2.3 million credits, as you guys see at the bottom of the screen. I cast a Great Ritual and increases my might some more. Now, you can't do this 20 times per day, as you guys can see here on mine. It's just because I haven't played for a while, so my daily cathedral bump ups, they stacked up over time. And that's one cool thing Skyforge will do. If you decide not to play for a few days or whatever, the caps you can raise for your character, they all stack up over time. And again, how do you get things like credits, knowledge of enemies, and those different currencies? You just run the game's content. And I kid you guys not, I'll go ahead and just give you guys some examples of it. But you literally just run the game's content. That's all you do to make more credits and things like that. Now, for example, you have these dungeons here and things like that. These are they're called group runs, but I just call them dungeons as easiest way to refer to them as. The region areas, these are open world places where you can go with other players. You can do different quests around there. You can fight world bosses and stuff like that. And as you guys can see, each of these regions offer rewards to help boost your characters. Like Roku Valley for example. 35,000 knowledge of enemies for completing that area. Group dungeons. You can get yourself a new piece of gear. 1,250 sparks of transformation. Sparks of transformation are what's for used to unlock new classes and other goodies. Now, mind you guys, these goodies will change every single day depending on what's available for the dungeon and stuff like that. And as you go through and invasions start, you'll also have different instances that are only available for certain invasions, aka a season. Like for example, this Dark Ritual 3-man dungeon here. This is only available during the Reaper's invasion, and there'll be a different type of version that's available during the Oceanids invasion, etc., etc., etc. This is your directives. These are basically a series of daily quests that you're going to want to do every single day. Now, like I said, if you don't always do yours, they do build up over time. As you guys can see, I have 7 of each one available because I haven't been doing mine. So they all stacked up and I haven't played for a little while. But you have a version in each section of the game you can do. You have a directive you can do every day for squad-based dungeons. Those are 3-man. You have a regional directive, which are open world areas. You have a group directive, which is a random 5-man dungeon. You have battles, which are PvP. You have an invasion-based directive. And you also have a trial, which these are 10-man raids. And you want to make sure that your gear and knowledge of these are in, I'm not going to say in tip-top shape, but you are a little bit familiar with the trials and stuff like that, because a lot of these can be challenging even at early levels. They're big group dungeons. You do have a lot of players with you, so it is very easy to get carried and have a lot of support, but they are very mechanic heavy. The bosses inside of these are pretty punishing, so you do want to try and go in there well equipped and with a group of people that you trust playing with and stuff like that. I would definitely recommend bringing a few friends along, maybe somebody that's familiar with the game and stuff like that before you do trials. Or you can run in there blind, have fun with it, but that's just my personal recommendation, if you want to have the smoothest time getting through it. The first time experience, is always the most fun. But if like I said, if you want to have a smooth sailing first time through a trial, I would definitely try bringing some experienced friends, or at least, like I said, people you trust playing with along with you. Your Hall of Trophies. These are basically another thing that contributes to your might. There's another currency you can grab in the game. These are called Victor Medals. Again, you will find these from running different activities in the game, such as dungeons, raids, stuff like that, doing dailies. They're rewarded to you regularly, just like knowledge of enemies and credits and things like that. Use Victor Medals to upgrade these more. Now, the cool thing about these is not only do they just upgrade your might, but they'll also offer you perks. They'll increase different stats about your character. Like, for example, here, the Aegis of the Ocean, buying three 3,000 victor medals into this one time. This will increase my damage by 15% and also increase my health and give me a healing efficiency perk on top of it. And then it'll do even more at level 2, even more at level 3, etc., etc., until you get it all the way up to level 5. And you want to do that for a lot of these. Now, these will offer all kinds of things. Some offer things as simple as, just a few buffs. Some offer things as complex as a companion to fight along your side. Check out the Hall of Trophies and see which ones, work best for your character build and stuff like that. Alright, now the last thing I want to talk about before we wrap up is farming classes. Now, I know a lot of people will be wondering about this. I also have a guide talking about which class is right for you and showing off all the classes in the game. I'll leave a link to that down in the video's description, so you can check that out if you want to see some classes in action or learn a little bit about them before you end up saving up a lot of sparks of transformation for them. But anyway, let's go ahead and talk about classes, since I have one locked right here, which is the Slayer. Now, to unlock the Slayer, it says I need a currency called Sparks of Transformation. As you guys can see, I'm about 5,350 of these short from purchasing this class. Well, the question you're probably answering is, where do you get Sparks of Transformation? And I hate to sound like a broken record, but it's really, really simple. Now, for one, you can buy classes straight out with cash. However, I wouldn't recommend doing that because they are grindable. I'm not going to lie. It does take some time. It is a bit of a grindy process. And I don't mean basic MMO grindy. I'm talking Warframe, getting a prime frame kind of grindy. Now, the best way to farm for Sparks of Transformation is usually PvP instances, because they offer a set amount of Sparks of Transformation per win and per loss. But for the most part, when it comes to these, all you really have to do is just stay up to date with content, run your dungeons, do your dailies, and you'll get them all the time. As you guys can see, even my group daily, which is called, Directives. I just call them dailies. It makes it easier. But they're also called Directives. I showed you guys these earlier. This will offer me 600 Sparks of Transformation just for running Darren Facility of the dungeon. And now, keep in mind, that's 600 Sparks of Transformation just for doing the daily. But there's also a chance that more sparks can drop throughout the dungeon run. They could drop from enemies, from a boss fight, or something like that. So that could mean I could get 650 Sparks of Transformation. Or I could get lucky and 500 sparks could drop. Or 1,000. That could be 1,600 sparks just for that one run. But yeah, all you got to do is just, farm dungeons, your instances, or whatever. Whether you prefer raiding, 5-mans, 3-mans, me personally, I would say the 5-man dungeons, they're probably the most efficient way next to PvP. But PvP instances are usually the best way to farm Sparks of Transformation. As you guys can see, the small battles right here, they give you sparks every single time, and you're even awarded, looks like you're getting awarded some victor medals too, and 3v3, since that's the smallest one, and also the fastest. Is probably the most efficient way to farm classes. But most of the classes, they're all going to range from different prices. They can be anywhere from 25 to 35,000 sparks. Now, disclaimer, when Skyforge releases new classes, they tend to be a bit more expensive than the base classes. Also, one other thing you do want to keep in mind as well, speaking of classes, your first time clearing your provinces and doing every single dungeon and raid at least once, you get a bonus per province. I believe it's 500 sparks per province mission, and then 1,000 for each 5-man dungeon and 1,250 for each raid. That's at least the currency it used to be. I'm not sure if it's changed, if it's more or less now, so feel free to correct me in the comments if that has changed. But once you complete all of that and get to endgame, you have enough to buy one class for free. So do keep that in mind. Think about what class you want by the time you reach the end of the game, because you'll be able to buy one that you really want by the time you get through all of that content. But anyway, guys, I hope this guide helped you. If you feel like I missed anything, be sure to leave it down in the comments below. And I'll be sure to like your comment so it stands out so that way other players see it and that can help them as well. I'll be doing a bit more of an in-depth endgame guide once I reach that point on Nintendo Switch, just so I can show things from a fresh and new standpoint. But anyway, like I said, y'all enjoyed this video, smash that thumbs up button for me. And I want to thank you all so much for watching. It's your boy Tanek127, and please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Till next time, peace out, take care.